Welcome to today's lecture. Today we are going to learn transbronchial needle aspiration. Today we are going to discuss definition and indications of transbronchial needle aspiration, 6 essentialities of TBNA and its complications. Introduction. Transbronchial needle aspiration of mediastinal lymph node was initially described in 1949. Its application via flexible bronchoscopy was described in 1981. TBNA helps in diagnosis and staging pulmonary hilar mediastinal lesions, particularly lung cancer. The most common application is diagnosis and staging of lung cancer. Definition: TBNA is minimally invasive procedure to obtain cellular material using a needle that is passed through the bronchial wall. Here we have conventional TBNA and EBUS TBNA. Conventional TBNA means here the TBNA procedure performed with bronchoscopic visualization without endobronchial ultrasound. In EBUS TBNA, the TBNA procedure is performed under endobronchial ultrasound image guidance by using bronchoscope with endobronchial ultrasound. What are the indications of TBNA? Mediastinal and hilar lymphadenopathy. This mediastinal and hilar lymphadenopathy can be seen in patients with bronchogenic carcinoma, tuberculosis, sarcoidosis, and fungal infections. Here, TBNA procedure is useful in establishing a histologic diagnosis and to stage known or suspected bronchogenic carcinoma. And next, endobronchial lesions. Here, TBNA procedure is useful in cases of necrotic tumor, hemorrhagic tumor, or to define the line of surgical resection. Other indications are extensive compression of the airway by peribronchial lesions, submucosal disease, peripheral nodules or masses, follow-up of small cell tumors or lymphoma, diagnosis and or drainage of mediastinal cyst or mediastinal abscesses. Factors influencing the diagnostic yield of TBNA. There are numerous factors that influence the diagnostic yield of TBNA. They include likelihood of malignancy as determined from the history and examination, location of the lesion or lymph node, size of the lesion or lymph node, and appearance of the lesion, example speculation, as determined by the computed tomography, visibility and carinal involvement of the tumor as determined by the bronchoscopy. Technical issues can influence the diagnostic yield, including operator experience, type of the needle used, the number of attempts, the number of aspirates, and presence of cytologist. Next, 6 essentialities of TBNA. Here we have tomographic evaluation, type of needle, technique, tissue preparation, tissue interpretation, and trained assistant. Tomographic evaluation. CT thorax is typically performed prior to TBNA to evaluate the relationship of tracheobronchial tree to the surrounding structures like lymph nodes and blood vessels. This maximizes the diagnostic yield and safety. Type of needle. A wide variety of TBNA needles are available. The TBNA needle consists of a retractable sharp beveled flexible needle, a retractable catheter, a proximal control device to manipulate the needle, the stylet or both, and a side port through which suction can be applied. Only retractable needles should be used because non-retractable needles may damage the working channel of bronchoscope. 22 gauge needles are usually used to obtain cytology specimens. Large 19 gauge needles are needed to obtain a core of tissue for histology. A needle 15 mm in length and 21 gauge in diameter is necessary for aspiration of a mediastinal abscess or cyst. In this image you can see TBNA needle. Let me explain the parts of TBNA needle. This is the aspiration end. Here you can connect syringe to aspirate the specimen. This is the needle slider. This is the scale. This is the needle adjuster lever. the sheath adjuster knob. This is connecting slider. This is the stylet knob. This is the stylet. This is the metal hub, and this is the sheath covering the needle. Next technique. The TBNA procedure can be done on an outpatient basis with topical anesthesia with lidocaine 2% to suppress the cough reflex, and with mild sedation or in general anesthesia. Continuous monitoring of patient vitals is mandatory. Emergency equipment should be available. Trained physician and nurses should be available. Availability of integrated system allowing the bronchial direct vision and ultrasound images displayed on one screen simultaneously. Two nurses should be present in the room. One nurse will assist the procedure and other nurse monitor the patient vitals and control oxygen delivery. Patient lies in supine position. Operator stands at the patient's head, assisted by one nurse. During the insertion of the TBNA needle, the bronchoscope should be kept as straight as possible, with its distal tip in the neutral position to prevent damage to the working channel. The beveled end of the needle should be kept within the metal hub during its passage through the working channel. Needle should be advanced and locked into place once metal hub is visible beyond the tip of bronchoscope. EBUS is then advanced to the target area. Once target area is reached, needle is advanced into the lesion or lymph node through the tracheobronchial wall. Here we have a techniques used for transbronchial wall penetration: jabbing method, hub against the wall method, piggyback method, cuff method. These are the methods used for tracheobronchial wall penetration. Let me explain about these four methods one by one. Jabbing method. In this method, the bronchoscope is held stationary while the needle assembly is pushed forward. Hub against the wall method. Here, distal end of the catheter can be placed directly in contact with the target and held firmly while the needle is pushed out of the catheter for its spontaneous penetration through the tracheobronchial wall. Piggyback method. Here the bronchoscope and the needle assembly are moved forward as a unit. Cuff method. Here the scope and the needle assembly are held stationary and the patient is asked to cuff, which forces the tracheobronchial wall over the needle. In this image you can see mediastinal lymph nodes. This is right lower paratracheal lymph node station 4R. This is left lower paratracheal lymph node station 4L. And these are hilar lymph node station 10R. These are left hilar lymph node station 10L. This is subcarinal lymph node station 7. Aspiration from these 5 lymph node stations are useful for staging lung cancer, and aspiration from remaining lymph node station increases the chance of making tissue diagnosis but is not helpful for staging. At the end of the procedure, thorough check of the tracheobronchial tree is mandatory before removing the scope from the airway to remove the clots, secretions, and control possible site of bleeding. After the procedure, patient should be continuously monitored for at least 1 hour. Tissue preparation. Proper handling of the obtained specimen is critical. The specimen for cytology is prepared by using air from empty syringe to spray the specimen on the slide, smearing it using another slide. The specimen is then flushed from the needle using 3 ml of saline or using stylet. Specimens are sent for cell block preparation, which provide either cytologic or histologic examination. Specimen can be sent for GeneXpert to rule out tuberculosis. 3 needle aspirates from each lymph node station has been recommended for optimal diagnostic yield. Next, tissue interpretation. Rapid on-site evaluation of the specimen by a cytopathologist for sample adequacy has been demonstrated to increase diagnostic yield. Trained assistant. Trained assistant is essential to ensure smooth performance of the procedure and proper tissue handling, which are critical to achieving a high yield. What are the complications of transbronchial needle aspiration? The complications are fever, transient bacteremia, bleeding, inadvertent puncture of mediastinal structures, pneumothorax, pneumomediastinum, and damage to the working channel of the bronchoscope. And the reference for this lecture up to date. Thank you.